Fortnite Chapter 3 Season 2 is an absolute hit with the casuals with the removal of building, but this could also easily be one of the best competitive seasons. However, there are a few adjustments that have to be made in order for this to be successful. I think the most obvious change is going to be the tank. No, not me, the Titan tank. In public matches, this is already becoming frustrating, but in competitive, it's even worse. We saw in the Evaluation Cup Malabuka getting it earlier on, getting up onto high ground hills, and essentially just destroying the entire lobby with this. And you as a team don't have anything you can do. This is just basically Mechs 2.0 when it comes to competitive. So I think it's a bit of a no-brainer that at the end of the preseason, this should be removed. Next is actually cannons. I think these need to be adjusted a little bit. The idea is fantastic. You get in the cannon, you can fire yourself as mobility, but there's a couple big issues around this. The first one is that the actual cannon shot itself does so much damage, and it's really easy to, similarly to tanks, just shoot onto a bunch of enemy builds, knock them down with pretty much no downside. You can easily box one of these up and just fire it across. Secondly, they still seem to be relatively bugged. Sometimes when you get in these, you just fire off into a random direction. In the World Cup qualifiers, this happened to Tifu, and then in ESL Katowice Royale, this happened to Tajovski as well. Yeah. Similarly, the kind of griefability of these is pretty high, though you can just spray them against enemies' builds with, like I already mentioned, no real downsides. Next item is going to be the cow catchers. Now, the cow catchers is an item, a vehicle mod actually, that you can just throw onto any vehicle, and it's going to create a kind of barrier at the front that you can ram through buildings. Now, this has already become a bit of a problem in the end of last season in solo cash cups when we saw the semi-trucks. Players just starting to drive through low ground with nothing that players can really do against it. It's very hard to counter. In all honesty, that isn't the real problem. The main issue is that you can't build on them once you've thrown them. Now, the problems that this causes is that you can break walls by throwing them at them, and then the players inside can't do anything at all. If you're me, unfortunately, you keep losing the 50-50s after you've done this, but if you're a top pro level player, there's so many ways that you can utilize this to break players' builds, double spray with the very strong SMGs, and then just pick up eliminations in a way that's just completely not counterable. I would probably like to see these just removed altogether because of the way that if you put them on vehicles, they can easily cause a disruption to a lot of the low ground. I think we're going to have a lot of issues with that if they stay in anyway, but they definitely have to not break builds or be able to be built on at a minimum. Okay, what's the one main glaring issue with this season so far? No surprise, it's the Combat SMG. The Combat SMG is so powerful that I actually just don't even think it was considered to be in competitive at all. It's in there right now in the preseason, but I think as soon as that preseason ends, it's just gonna go. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be so surprised. I basically don't even need to analyze and give good reasons why it should be removed, but it's significantly higher DPS than the Stinger SMG, which a lot of the competitive community was very unhappy about last season already. This is an ultra buffed version of it in box. You can die to it in under half a second. It's just so powerful that to me, it doesn't even seem like Epic are considering putting it in, and I hope that is the case. There are a lot of other bugs like cars falling through the map. However funny it is, once will ruin a couple of competitive games, which if this is fixed alongside some of the other suggestions I've got here, I genuinely believe that this could be one of the best competitive seasons alongside one of the best casual seasons, which has not happened in a long time. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a lot. Please subscribe if you aren't already. Peace.